Today I want to show you how I built this litter box for my camper van that has a ventilation system that comes out through the partition door and out of the window. It's all electronic and it's supposed to actually be for a house, but I kind of rigged it up to work for my van. Overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. It actually also doubles as a bench and sits right up against the front of the partition door. It took me a really long time to figure out where I wanted to put the litter box because I felt like the bottom of the closet, I didn't want the smell to go into my clothes. I didn't want it to be next to my fridge. I didn't want it to be in my kitchen unit where my food is. I didn't want it to be under the bed and then feel like I didn't have the motivation to go under the bed and empty it out as often as I should. So it took me a while, and this does take up more space than I would have originally liked it to, but I'm glad with where it is because now that it's able to be taken out of the van, I can wash it more, I can take care of it more if I want to ever replace just this piece. Because I won't need to replace, like closets, drawers at any point in the van build really. But a litter box, I feel like I'm probably going to want to build a new one in like 2-3 years in case the wood absorbs smell. Is that a thing? Like one of the big mistakes I think I did was I bought a plastic little litter box, actual like litter container. And I should not have done that. I should have gone with aluminum because plastic absorbs smells. I did a lot of research and I looked really into this to try to make sure I made the best litter box possible. So let's get into it now. I'm going to show you the whole process of building the box and putting in the ventilation system. So let's get started. My first step was gathering everything I wanted to store in the litter box so I could decide what measurements I needed the box to be. In the end, all I'm storing in the box is the litter box pan, which is currently this one I got on Amazon, but I will be looking for a stainless steel or metal coated litter box just to better repel and not absorb smells. I also was originally planning on using this litter box genie in the litter box. It opens up in the top to put litter in and then has a tray pull out to drop the used litter in the storage box below. I found it works really great at trapping smells, so I wanted to use it in the van, but this is the smallest one they make and it takes up almost the whole box, so I'm considering converting to this shovel instead that goes right into individual bags, so we'll see. The bottom drawer of my closet will be for storing extra litter and litter deodorizer and other accessories or things I may need whenever emptying the litter box. So it can be directly within arm's distance, but then I don't need the box to store everything because I do need my cat to be able to enter in it and feel like she has plenty of space. I'm also hoping to make the litter box be able to double as a bench I can sit on and hopefully blend well into the partition door. I'm using 1/2-inch Baltic birch plywood, cutting it down with a circular saw and attaching it all with wood glue and pocket hole screws. So while I finish up showing you how I'm making this box, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, 𝗟𝗲. They so graciously sent me their pet temperature monitor and their pet RV cam for my van build, which is some of the most important pieces of my entire van build because nothing else matters more than my cat's safety. The 𝗟𝗲 pet monitor doesn't need any pre-wiring into your van or RV. It just hangs up on any wall and can recharge from a USB outlet. I know I've talked about 𝗟𝗲 often before on my channel, but they actually have added a few new features to this 𝗟𝗲 pet monitor, beyond just the temperature and humidity monitoring that sends instant updates to your phone if the temperature or humidity ever rises or lowers to unsafe conditions for your pet. But they now also have geofence and GPS location-based alerts, so this can also act as a tracker for your vehicle. It will send you alerts if the location ever changes, which you can even use if you just forget the location of where you parked. One of my favorite new features is the vet chat feature, where you can get 24/7 vet advice in case of emergencies, which I actually find very useful because recently Betty had a scar on her neck and I spent a lot of money thinking she was seriously ill taking her to the vet for them to just tell me it was a scratch. And as someone who nomadically travels a lot, it can be really hard to find a good vet consistently, so this definitely solves that problem. Also, I'll soon be installing their RV mini cam so I can get noise and motion based alerts to keep an eye on Betty if she ever needs to be alone in the van. It has auto tracking, night vision, and two-way audio, so I am fully covered and ready for anything. So right now, if you use code TORY, you can get 60% off the pet monitor or the pet cameras, but if you bundle it using code DELURY, you can get an additional 5% off. So if you want to learn more, definitely check out the links in the description. Now let's get back to this build. So I sanded everywhere and added edge banding to all of the exposed edges and then painted it to match the partition door. I added a peel and stick wallpaper to the lid as well as a cushion over the top and hinges for the lid, and that's the base of the project. Just start by making a box. Next, it was time to install the filtration system. I found this on Amazon and it was very easy to install. It says it replaces the entire cat litter box air every 13 seconds and it's pretty quiet at at below 20 decibels. The next step in this project was drilling a hole in the back of the litter box as well as the partition door so the tubing of the system can come through and lead from inside the litter box out to the front passenger seat and outside window. The kit did include the proper sized hole saw, so you won't need to buy one separately. And while I was doing this, I also drilled a 6-inch hole in the side of the litter box for my cat to be able to enter and exit from so she can actually use the litter box. And then I finished the larger hole with edge banding to give it a more professional look. I find edge banding ovals or circles or arches just to be more difficult, especially with a large iron like this, and I tend to always need to use tape while it cools down so it can properly melt into the wood and really adhere well. So now we're going to install the ventilation system, which is super quick and super easy. I would say the hardest part was drilling out the hole into the partition wall because my partition wall is so thick, had so many layers, and it had to go through like the wool insulation. So if I could go back, I would have done this during the partition door install and just had it done and ready. But now that I have the hole, I'm just going to place this side of the tubing in through the hole. And now this half is done. So the front bulb piece and long tubing goes into the front of the wall, and then I normally just store the tubing behind the passenger chair. And whenever I need to use it, I can just pull it out and roll down my window a bit and fit it into place so it can expel the dirty litter box air out to the outside world. So sorry, outside world. Now from the inside, I am going to take the litter box and scooch it right up. This is so... We're gonna have to work on that. I matched up the hole in the litter box to the hole in the partition door so that I can see the tubing system kind of come out a little bit, so I can take the final piece and just screw them all together so they're a tight fit and they don't move. And now it's done. Next, I just connected all of the black cords where they belong, and voila, it is ready to go once it is plugged in. Unfortunately, this does take an inverter because it is an AC charged device. If I wanted to be really crazy, maybe I could rewire this, make it into DC, but we're not there right now. It's not on the top of my importance list. So for now, this is how it's going to work. I can plug it in, and it has a little dial to make it more powerful or less powerful. I did attempt to do a test run for you, but I didn't have the moxie to purposely put something bad smelling in my van. So when my first videos come out with Betty living in the van, I'll give a better review, and I'll come back and leave a pinned comment as well about how it's working. But the Amazon reviews seemed pretty promising, so we'll see. As far as the power draw, it says it's using 0 watts, so I'm assuming most of the power decreasing is actually just from the inverter having to be on, since it's an AC device. But that's all of the technical parts, so now we get to have fun and get it all set up for her. This is also her cabinet that's going to have her dinner and maybe some treats, things like that, and it has her name put in the back already. She's also going to get a full drawer from the closet that's going to have the extra litter, her extra food, like dry food, anything else she could need. So she's special, what can I say? She gets whatever she wants. So confession, I am a huge sucker for those organizational short videos where they organize drawers and houses, so I'm gonna live my dreams for a moment and make one for you right now. So the first thing I put in her little cabinet was these treats that make her breath smell better. I've tried a few different ones, but these definitely make the best difference. Next is the Arm & Hammer Litter Box Deodorizer. The best litter I have found is the Arm & Hammer brand, so I'm excited to try these out as well. And of course I had to get some funny ones to throw in there too. The next thing are these Calming Moments Calming Aid treats, because Betty gets a lot of anxiety, and I will be giving her these in preparation for the first few days in the van. Next is Strawberry Pound Cake Scented Hand Sanitizer, so no explanation needed there. I also put some of her dinners in here for now, but I'm not sure this is where they'll end up permanently stored. Then is her treat jar, which of course is a Harry Potter reference. And I also got these calming pheromone collars. I'm testing out different brands right now, but she'll be wearing these a lot when she's first in the van to help with her anxiety. She's an older cat, so she does not like new situations, so I'm trying to set her up in the best way I can, so she'll love the van as much as I do. Next, I just put in one of her toys, and that is all I can get to fit in this box for now. Moving on to the actual litter box. The litter I'll be using is this Arm & Hammer brand. I've been testing out different brands for months, and this is the one that's best for me at the moment. It's a little more dusty, but clumps the best and is best for smells. I may be trying a few other kinds once we're in the van. Something else I really wanted for the litter box was a scratch mat, because she always scratches afterwards, and if she has something with more traction than the wood, then she's less likely to track that litter throughout the van. This one, unfortunately, was a little too big for the box I made, and I just didn't have it in my heart to cut it up, so I may use this one, which I actually bought to put on the sliding door to give her more areas where she's going to be allowed to scratch in the van. This is the current litter box additive that I'm testing out, but I have no review yet on performance. And finally, another technique I'm using is placing litter box garbage bags on the bottom of the pan, so if I ever want to just get rid of all of the litter, I don't need to take out the pan. This is going to help control odors better, and I've also seen people put dog training pee pads on the bottom just to catch any missed, non-absorbed pee to help with the smells as well, so I'm considering that. I don't want to go overboard, but I also do not want my van to smell like litter box. So is there really such a thing as overboard? Another reason I put this box next to the sliding door is so I could open the van door and help air it out more easily if I ever need to. So while this litter box is not done yet, there are still a few things that I want to add, like changing out to the metal or aluminum kind of litter pan, as well as getting a small little rug here in front. That way when I walk through the pathway, I can rub my feet on it, but then also when she comes out of the litter box, some of that litter that's going to track can also go into that mat and make it easier to clean and just kind of stay more tidy. But for the most part, for today, what I can do is done, but there is one tiny little thing that needs to be added. Honestly, 𝗍𝗲 reminds me a lot of Bilbo Baggins. She's going to be very reluctant to go on this journey, but it is going to help her a lot. She's actually going to like it once she gets used to it. We're going to be able to spend time together all day long. Right now I've been outside working on the van a lot, so she has been not getting the pets to the quantity that she would desire. So I think she's going to like it in the end. She just has to not be afraid to take the first steps.